Let's compare the Celtics this season after 25 games to last year's team after the same amount. The Celtics were 13-12 last season with a plus 1.1 net rating. This season, they're 20-5 plus 8.1 net rating. Last year's Green Team took 41 games just to get to that 25-win mark. All right, Chris Forsberg, John Tomase sticks here with us. Forsberg joining us from home before he comes in for a little Celtics pregame live, taking on the Suns. So we're going to play a little game of sold or unsold. A little like buy or sell, but just a little different. All right, let's start with Chris Forsberg. These Celtics are title favorites. Are you sold or not quite sold yet?
No, I'm sold. Have you seen this, Trenni? Like, I know there's a difference between regular season and postseason, but the way they're dominating offensively, the way that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are playing, the way they fixed their bench and getting more consistent output, everything we hated about this team, even on its finals run and the inconsistencies that drove us nuts, have been appreciably better. And I think that you still got to show it over a long season and against the best opponents and into the playoffs and all that stuff. But there's little reason for me to believe, based on what we've seen through 25 games, that this team won't be one of the title contenders in terms of, like, they should be there at the finish line in the East. And, you know, as long as Giannis doesn't go supernova, they should probably be back in the NBA Finals.
Trenni, I am completely sold on this. And you know me, I seem to bleed a little greener since I got here, but just objectively, this is the progression. A young team, you know, it has some early runs to the conference finals, doesn't work out, reaches a finals, but clearly isn't ready. Now they are ready. Tatum is a superstar. Jaylen Brown is, you know, an all-NBA talent. To me, they are the clear NBA favorites, and that's just not our studio talking.
I mean, no, even I'm sold, and I'm a hard sell on these types of things, but you look at the things that they're doing differently this year that we want them from last year, and to me, the proof is in the pudding. Like, these guys have fixed what ails them. I am sold that they are squarely in the middle of the title conversation. All right, Tomase, Jaylen Brown is an all-NBA level player. Sold or unsold?
Also sold. I am sold on this one as well. I mean, we're talking about somebody who, by the All-Star break, might be averaging like 28 a game. I don't know that the Celtics, even in the Bird-McHale days when they were both, I think there was a year Bird was like 28, 29, McHale was 26, 27. They've never had two scorers like this on the same team. And you're seeing, especially recently, Brown is expanding his game in ways that Tatum did last year, where he's becoming not only a more willing passer, but a better passer, has a better sense of where people are on the floor. He is still first and foremost a scorer, but off the dribble, how many guys, you're talking, there's only a handful of guys who are as explosive off the dribble as he is. He's all NBA to me. Maybe third team, but he's all NBA.
And I'm completely sold as well. It's been remarkable. Every time you want to put a ceiling on Jaylen Brown, he just sort of comes in and raises that thing up a little bit. It's Tomase said, like, the scoring has been elite this season. The number I love is the last two games. I think it's been now or 93 total minutes without a turnover. I don't expect that to last. You know, he's still got some work to do on terms of ball security and being more protective of that basketball, but I mean, he's shooting like 50% from the mid-range, 50% from the floor. The three-point shot hasn't even gotten fully going for Jaylen Brown yet. He's just the perfect complement to what Jason Tatum is bringing as a star. And now you have your 1A, your 1B, however you want to phrase it. And yeah, he deserves one of those. If voting ended today, he would be a slam dunk for probably second-team All-NBA. It's hard because there's only those 15 spots, but I think he gets one if the Celtics continue on this sort of torrid pace.
Sold. Woo. That guy, when he has a chip on his shoulder, he rises to another level. I love it. All right, Celtics reserves will be a playoff asset. Chris Forsberg, sold or unsold?
Yeah, I'm unsold. So if we're narrowing in, we're saying guys like Blake Griffin and Luke Cornett and, you know, maybe Sam Hauser. I think Sam Hauser has a good chance because of his floor stretching ability and the way he's held his own defensively this season to be a guy they could probably rely on in the playoffs. Some of that will depend on if they pick up anybody on the buyout market and who can play defensively. But we know how it goes. It gets down to 8 or 9 guys in the playoffs. And so it's just going to put a squeeze on some of the end of the bench guys. Now, all that being said, you need 10, 11 guys to get you through the regular season. And it's quite the luxury when you can throw Blake Griffin out there and he turns back the clock and does a bunch of dunks. And, you get what you get from Cornette in terms of energy. So, again, a rougher path to get them in the playoffs, but a nice luxury that you didn't have last year if you need to break glass in case of emergency.
You're leaving out Brogdon. I guess maybe you consider him more of a regular, but I mean, Brogdon is the first guy off your bench. He's a difference maker. You have the shot making with Hauser stretching the floor. I think they are much better positioned than they were last year.
So I was on the fence on this, and that was the only one that I couldn't easily write something down. So I have to go unsold, because if I'm not totally sold, then I must be unsold.
I'm sold on everything, Trenni.
All right. All right, then I'll just go straight to Chris Forsberg on this one. Joe Mazzulla is a long-term NBA head coach. Are you sold?
Well, so I'm sold on the fact that he's got the talent to be an NBA head coach. I know it's like easy to fall in love through 25 games, but I want to see it in the playoffs. I mean, that's when coaches distinguish themselves. And so everything has been great with Joe. I expect them to give him long-term security when they can. But yeah, you got to prove yourself on that level and show you can coach with the Spoelstras and Popoviches of the world when the games matter most.
Yeah, sorry, Tomase. We usually see eye to eye and everything, but I'm with Forsberg on this one. You have to get through a point where the going gets really tough. And the going has not gotten really tough yet for this team. And I want to see what Joe Mazzulla can do when he has to bring everybody back together, or he's matching wits with a Steve Kerr in the NBA.
Sold. He's the best. You guys are non-believers.
All right. The Celtics visit the Suns tonight. We're going to get you ready starting at 9 o'clock with Celtics pregame live. It's presented by TD Bank. Then Scal and Eddie House will call the game in a special players-only edition. Remember, you can also stream the game. Just head over to NBCSportsBoston.com or the NBC Sports app or the My Teams app to watch on your favorite device. Boston Celtics live stream is presented by Nissan. Do not let amazing offers pass you by at the Nissan Thrill of the Drive event. Shop NissanUSA.com.